Xian, Tracy. It's good to meet you and talk to you face to face. How are you doing?
Very good. It's nice to see you, Heidi.
Yeah, good to see you too. So, we were pretty amazed with you and what you did during the Ninja Saga challenge. You obviously were the winner of that challenge. You've completed all of the 222 scales and got all the way to the pro level, the professional level, and finished before anyone else, even before Aaron, and which was awesome. And Josh Mills was kind of in that race trying to catch up with you guys, and he didn't quite complete all of those by the end of the challenge. I think he got to 205, and you completed all of the 222 scales. So that was amazing.
Well, thank you. It was nice to do it.
Good.
Actually, if you don't mind, share a little story that started me doing that was actually Josh. He texted me and he said, "Hey, would you like to do this Ninja Saga challenge?" And Aaron is leading, so maybe you can beat him. And I'm really trying to catch up on him, but I'm afraid that I might not be able to accomplish the goal. So he actually encouraged me to give a try, and I said, "Sure, I'd be happy to help you to beat him."
That's
Yeah,
great.
that's how I got started.
That's awesome. It's amazing what a little friendly competition can motivate us to do, huh?
Yes, absolutely, yes. And Josh is good at that. He reminds me, say, hey, it's your turn now. You need to get your action together and then give a try at it.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I'm glad he called you because that it just made the whole competition more fun to watch you guys battle it out a little bit. And you beat him by, I don't know, quite a few days, honestly. You finished before the competition was over, and that was pretty cool.
Well, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I have been play piano all my life, and I'm sure some people out there may not think it's fair that for a professional pianist to to jump in the race and to. But it was very pleasantly surprised, that I even got I was keep expecting someone is going to get the perfect score, and sooner or later they're gonna catch up on me.
Yeah, we will definitely see some more join the ranks in the professional scale ninja and wear the red scale ninja t-shirt and all of that. I'm sure that will happen. But honestly, we felt like it was fair because in every competition, we always have somebody up at the top, right? And we always want to reward that person for sure. That's just how it's going to be. And obviously, you've had time, you've put lots and lots of time and energy into this, but we want to don't want to discount that either because that was preparation not only for this challenge, but for life and what you do for a living, so that's great. And then we also do drawings, right, with our challenges. So that even gives the people who we had our other three winners in much lower levels of reading for the scales because of the drawings. So we don't feel bad about that. And we reward a lot of other people too for their efforts because it's hard what they're doing at the level that they're at, which I relate with very well because an adult beginner myself. So I'm still amazed with you and what you can do, but we also like to acknowledge what others are doing if they're beginners. So we try to make it as fair as possible.
Yes, and technique is part of my practice routine. Scale, arpeggios, chords, and I have my students do in every day of their reminding them they have to do that every day. So it does build on. It doesn't happen overnight that you can just do a scale perfectly, and even if you practice for 1 month, I think it still needs time to mature. And there are many ways to play scales too. And yeah, so once you have a very rounded complete training of your technique, then coming back to the basics makes it a little bit easier, and you can always there's a way find ways to push yourself to improve.
I love that. That's great. Thank you. Will you tell us a little bit more about what you do for a living?
Well,
Yeah.
I'm a professional pianist. I started playing piano when I was 4.5,
Wow.
and went to the music conservatory in China, Shanghai Music Conservatory, when I was 6.5, and I studied there all throughout with a conservatory teacher until I finished high school. And then, back then, in the dinosaur age now, uh, uh, coming to America is a dream for all Chinese music students. We all wanted to audition United States university colleges, conservatories in United States to come here to study with American teachers, because we know we can learn more and there are more opportunities for us to continue further our career. So that's what I did. I finished high school. I worked for the Philharmonic Orchestra as an accompanist. I think that has a lot to do with my. I'm pretty fortunate to be a very good sight reader, and I think starting early in my career to being an accompanist, collaborative pianist, really forced me to read as many music as I possibly can, and also maintain my technique. So I came to United States 2 years after I worked for as really actually as a professional musician. Then went to college, finished my bachelor, master's, and doctorate degree in piano performance. And meanwhile, in my doctorate study, I also have a minor in piano pedagogy, where I learned a lot of good ways to teach students rather than just what you inherited from your former teachers. And I have to admit, and I've learned a great deal from American teachers. The way to teach American students are very different the way that you teach music conservatory students back in China.
I bet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think being a teacher really helped me to be a better player. I've learned more from being a teacher than just perform on my own, and a lot of skills I had to revisit, learn how to explain the technique behind it, and breaking things down into smaller parts. All of that really helped my own playing, and also understanding the fundamental study is so important, very significant, because I know we are talking about scales, technique, sight reading, and that's what Piano Marvel does so well, is to encourage students to read as many pieces as possible. And doesn't matter what level you're at, always encourage them to read new pieces, not just only playing one or two pieces and memorize it, and then that will be the only two pieces you know how to play.
Right. Right.
I mean, that is actually how I was trained, is to learn a piece, memorize it, perform it, and move on to the next piece, learn it, memorize it, perform it. So there's never an opportunity for me to say, just sit down, play something, right? So if I have never had the opportunity to work as a freelance musician, that's other thing that I do is, besides teaching, I teach part-time in colleges, universities, and I'm also a freelance musician. I also do staff accompanying in addition to teaching in the collegiate level. So all of that put together, I think, make me more of a well-rounded musician. I'm a very active as a church musician as well, so I do a lot of contemporary Christian pieces, something that you very different style approach to playing compared to classical repertoire. So that makes a very diverse. So my approach to playing is, or my exposure to music, to piano music, is very diverse. I can do almost any style. I have to admit that I'm not a good improviser because my nature is to go to the music and read it and play it. But I can sit down and play it just as instantly, pretty much almost anything that put in front of me,
That's
which
amazing.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the years of training and opportunity working as a freelance musician put you in that position. Even when I was in my graduate study, that my assistantship is in a company. So we have to do, I can't remember, was it 20 hours a week, 15 to 20 hours a week. Some classes I literally just walking, sit down, play. And I remember I had to sight read French art songs, and those are French composers are not easy to read with accidentals and then all the exotic scales and then lots of black keys, accidental key signatures are crazy all over the places. You talk about Fauré, Debussy, and Poulenc and that sort of thing. So, and I
Wow.
remember I was able to sit down and just play through it. It doesn't, I'm not playing every single note, but I can follow it, listen to the singer, and pretty much get through the whole thing. I don't think I can do it now.
That is
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
But those are the times that I was literally practicing 5 to 6 hours average every day.
Wow.
To be a sight reader, you have to have the technique. You have to have the fingerings. If you practice your scales, arpeggios regularly, um, then you have the fingerings, you have the concept of the patterns. Sense of a rhythm is so important, and that's what you develop when you do scales in various rhythmic patterns. Arpeggios is very the same thing. That when you put that into an actual practice, seeing a piece of music, when you identify the scale instantly, then there it is. You're not really reading every single note. You're literally just reading the patterns and shapes.
Wow. Wow. That is so amazing. When you talk about your sight reading ability, and we recognized that when you started using Piano Marvel early on, and Josh was in charge of, it'd been probably a few years since Piano Marvel had, introduced the SASSER or the Standard Assessment of Sight Reading. And it was kind of time for a re-level. We had put new music in there, and maybe some of the levels weren't exactly where we wanted them to be. So he and Sean Slade decided to go ahead and do kind of a re-level of the whole Sasser and add a whole bunch of music. And you were in on that project with several other, probably a fairly large group actually of sight readers. And you were chosen because you were such a good sight reader. How did you feel about that project?
Oh, I absolutely loved it. I mean, we were reading, Josh sent out the file, and Aaron was, giving us all the instructions on how to do and everything. I'm trying to think. I think we were just doing the what's that mode? It's not the one that you get to do one and stop. You have to do it in the
Assess mode where it keeps going and doesn't
yeah,
let you stop?
a boot camp. It's called boot.
Okay, the boot camp. Yeah.
So we have to do it, and then so there's a 20 seconds countdown for everything. The whole purpose of it is to test, on average, all the professional pianists or some of our very advanced pianists to test their ability of just they getting an average score and everything. So I remember I worked so hard to try to get through the whole book. Like there's 6 to 7 levels within each letter names, like a A1, A2, A3, or maybe. But anyway, yeah, it was tons of music to read, and it was so much fun, and it's kind of brings back all the memory of all the old pieces I've learned back in when I was a student, in always some of it even back to high school time, and so those were really fun, and then there are some pieces are technically just unreadable. And you just have to do the best you can. I'll just have to put aside my perfectionist attitude. Have to say, well, I just have to hit whatever I can. I remember I was complaining to Josh. I said, please don't put any more fugues into the bundle because it really hurts my brain to play them. And I really want to do it because I know some of the pieces, but I've never played them before. You see, I've heard it, other people, other students playing them, other colleagues playing them. But some of it I was literally sight reading it, and it was so hard. There was I can't remember, was it like 3 or 4,000 pieces?
It was a lot. Yeah, I would have to ask them how many it was. That was a lot of music that you guys
Yeah, yeah.
sat and just read through.
I love all the etudes. The Czerny etudes are my favorite because I can just, play them, even haven't touched them for 20 some years, and I can sit down, I can still read them and play them. That was really fun.
You
Yeah.
know that's not normal, right? You're like superhuman, you realize?
Yeah, I like those things. Yeah, yeah. And I also helped did some of the editing. Helped Josh to proofread some of the music, to change the layout of the score so that it will be easier to read. So that I found that to be very productive. Anytime when I can explain something, I learn something for myself. And so it's not just by doing it. So that's the part I love about is telling people why and how, and
Yeah,
finding ways to do it better.
that really is the gift of teaching, isn't it? That we learn as we teach, and so that's great. We appreciate all of your contributions to Piano Marvel. Seriously, you have become a big major part of the Piano Marvel family, and we so appreciate you.
Thank you. Well, thank you for including me.